Shop Northwest Rugs today, located in Wilsonville and in Tigard.
Pay less on absolutely everything, Sunday at 6 on Town Hall.
On World News Tonight this Thursday, the British royal family under siege. The Queen will now go on television to talk about Diana. The terrorists strike in Jerusalem again. 7 people are dead, nearly 200 injured. And can the IRS be forced to stop abusing ordinary taxpayers? Sam Donaldson talks to the man who will try.
Taxpayers that have been abused, harassed, and intimidated.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. The news today is marked, as it is so often, by violence, a terrorist attack in Jerusalem. And in a minute, we'll try to understand what effect that will have on the U.S. effort to make peace between Israelis and Palestinians. But the news is dominated again today by the wave of resentment and anger against the British royal family that has spread across Britain as a whole. The Princess of Wales, Diana, this one individual, it turns out, was more central to the British public than many of them had imagined. And we'll deal with that at length tonight. To begin, what the world's most important royal family has been obliged to do in the face of public pressure. ABC's Jim Wooten reports from London.
In several remarkable ways today, the royal family responded to the country's growing unhappiness with their silence and seclusion. First, returning from private worship in Scotland, they allowed themselves to be photographed viewing tributes to Diana left outside their castle. The Queen, her husband, Prince Charles, and his sons had not been seen since Sunday. It was an awkward mixture of genuine grief and posing for cameras.
Nice to see you, sir.
As further evidence of the family's sensitivity, Prince Edward and Prince Andrew, Charles's brothers, mingled with mourners in London today. And it was announced they'd signed the condolence book inside St. James's Palace. Moreover, the Queen has decided to address the country tomorrow, a striking concession for a monarch who normally speaks on television only on Christmas Day and at the opening of Parliament.
The Queen has asked me to say that the royal family have been hurt by suggestions that they are indifferent to the country's sorrow at the tragic death of the Princess of Wales.
There have been unmistakably angry headlines in the London papers, criticism on the BBC,
but they wanted to hear from her.
And in the streets, scathing commentary on the Queen.
Now she probably feels a bit guilty, and makes her feel so she's got to say something now. We feel that she should have done it sooner.
It isn't early, it's too late. It really is.
I think it's far too late now. I think after this, the royal family it's going to take years to rebuild.
Even the absence of a flag at Buckingham Palace has drawn fire in the papers. And as the controversy continued, details of Diana's funeral were released. There will be readings by her sisters, who, with Prince Charles, claimed her body in Paris, and by her brother and Prime Minister Blair.
Seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind.
Her friend Elton John will sing this song, written originally for Marilyn Monroe. Now with new lyrics for Princess Diana. He talked with Barbara Walters for tomorrow night's 2020.
What's the first line?
Goodbye, England's Rose.
And how does it end?
Your candle burned out long before your legend ever will. So it's 3 verses about her, and it's a beautiful lyric, and fitting for her.
While the service will be televised, the royal family has insisted there be no pictures of them inside Westminster Abbey. Still, they have offered one significant other surrender to public opinion. Over Buckingham Palace on Saturday morning, where the Queen's standard usually flies when she's in residence here, there instead will be the Union Jack lowered to half-mast as a tribute to Diana. That has never happened before. Peter?
Thank you very much, Jim Wooten, outside Buckingham Palace tonight. Another example of how the British public will have its way. The initial agitation for a moment of silence at Diana's funeral will now give way to what amounts to a complete halt to all commercial and athletic activity in Britain on Saturday. Here's ABC's Judd Rose.
Workmen are unloading the security barriers, cleaning the streetlights, and building the platforms. And with 2 days to go, the first of a crowd that may number as high as 6 million are getting in place.
I haven't felt this bad since my mother died, and that was a long time ago.
Never seen anything like it, and you're unlikely ever to witness it again.
London will virtually shut down during Diana's funeral. Movie theaters, stage shows, betting houses will all go dark. And Harrods, the famed department store, will close on a Saturday for only the second time this century. This American was in London when it was bombed in World War II.
This is like when we went through the Blitz. Everybody united.
With all the floral tributes, London flower shops are straining to meet the demand. And Diana souvenirs have all but vanished.
Sold out on Sunday afternoon.
Diana books are flying off the shelves.
Well, this is where the books were. As soon as the news broke on Sunday, people were coming in and just buying the books immediately.
And of course, television. There are estimates that the audience could be 2.5 billion worldwide. That would easily surpass the current record holder, 700 million, established in 1981 for the wedding of Charles and Diana. All in all, it will be a blend of grief and grandeur that's likely to stay in our memories for a long time.
I've never done anything like this before. I mean, there's never been a woman like Diana before.
Judd Rose, ABC News, London.
With all that is going on, we will be back in London tomorrow night to prepare for the funeral on Saturday. We will have extended coverage, which will begin at 5 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday and continue. And when we come back this evening, we'll have some of today's other news. The terrorist attack on a crowded shopping mall in Jerusalem. Another rough day for Vice President Gore. The Senate focuses on his campaign fundraising. And then we'll go back to St. James Palace for stories of grief and outrage.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Kellogg's.
Hey, Frankie, want some Danish?
No, man, I already got it.
Complete bran flakes.
Mm-hmm.
What's something wrong?
Yeah, something's wrong.
Yeah.
They took me off ladders. I eat lousy. I haven't been working out. I'm not a rookie anymore. I gotta do something.
Thousands of people have started turning their lives around with 4 little words. Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes.
I guess you're gonna toss that.
No, I'll give it to the rookies.
Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. It's a start.
Arthritis pain, it's a part of my life. That's why I keep Advil close by. You see, it stops minor arthritis pain where it starts. Nothing's proven to work better or last longer than Advil. Nothing.
Advanced medicine for pain.
Neutrogena T-Gel Dandruff Shampoo. Recommended #1 by dermatologists. It works. Handles any type of dandruff symptom from mild to severe. Controlling dandruff and other itchy, flaky scalp conditions. Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo.
There are no rest stops in life. Great moments fly by 1,000,000 miles an hour. But that's okay. Because with its more powerful engine and refined suspension, new Camry owners are in for one smooth, comfortable ride. The new Camry. Smoother, more powerful, better than ever.
And now to the latest terrorist attack in Jerusalem. At least 7 people, including 3 suicide bombers, were killed. Nearly 200 people were injured, including some Americans, when the bombs went off at a shopping mall. From Jerusalem, here's ABC's Linda Patillo.
The bombs were studded with nails, apparently set off by the suicide bombers within seconds of each other. Hundreds of shoppers and tourists were crowded in the pedestrian mall, lined with shops, cafes, and American fast food restaurants. 12-year-old Moshe Abramson was in the Dunkin' Donuts shop.
I was here, and I don't want to get hurt anymore. I'm afraid if there will be another bomb.
Please help us. Why did I live to
Among the injured Americans, Greg Salzman, visited in the hospital by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who called the young man's father in New Jersey.
All right, your son is all right. He's next to me. He's a little shaken, but he's going to be all right.
Later, Salzman told ABC News that 10 minutes before the blast, his companion had seen a man he now believes was one of the bombers, a man dressed as a woman.
I said, that's odd. I never saw that in Jerusalem.
Shortly after the attack, a caller to a French news organization claimed responsibility on behalf of the military wing of the Islamic group Hamas. American intelligence sources tell ABC News there is evidence that members of Hamas had been discussing plans to conduct dramatic terrorist operations because of Secretary of State Madeleine Albright's visit here next week. Those sources also say it appears the bombers have received help from Hezbollah groups in Lebanon and possibly Iran or Syria. Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat today insisted the bombers had not come from territory he controls.
I condemn completely these terrorist activities.
Empty words, say Israeli government officials. They are still furious that just 2 weeks ago, Arafat publicly embraced the political leader of Hamas.
They brandish their guns, and the worst of it is that Arafat personally hugs and kisses the Hamas leaders.
The cycle continues. The Israelis, who had just begun lifting restrictions on Palestinians after the last bombing, have now imposed them again. Linda Patillo, ABC News, Jerusalem.
President Clinton, who was vacationing on Martha's Vineyard off the Massachusetts coast, condemned the bombing, but said it would not delay Secretary of State Madeleine Albright's trip to the region next week. Here's our White House correspondent, John Donovan.
In limbo. Mr. Clinton aimed some not-so-veiled criticism at Yasser Arafat.
And the Palestinian Authority, through concrete actions on its own and continuing work with the Israeli authorities, must do all it can to create an environment that leaves no doubt that terror will not be tolerated.
Aides say that Mr. Clinton does not blame Arafat for the attack itself, but they do blame him for not doing enough to crack down on groups that espouse terrorism. The Secretary of State today.
Security cooperation must be accompanied by unilateral Palestinian action to preempt terror, destroy infrastructure, as well as to create a political climate where there is no tolerance for terror.
Security cooperation is virtually the only bargaining chip Arafat has. He holds back from working with the Israelis on security issues when he's unhappy with the negotiating process. Today, a senior administration official called this, quote, a terrible strategy that hands the moral high ground over to Bibi, a reference to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Of course, Netanyahu also exasperates U.S. officials, but they're rarely quite so public about it. While the U.S. opposes, for example, the settlement that Israel is building in disputed territory, that message is usually delivered behind closed doors. As a senior administration official said this evening, the president cannot get up and criticize the Israeli government on a day when Jewish blood has been spilled. Palestinians will ask, what about the rest of the time? John Donovan, ABC News with the president on Martha's Vineyard.
Late today, Palestinian security forces said they've arrested 2 leaders of the Hamas movement and will start arresting others for, as they put it, plotting against Palestinian interests. In Cuba today, an Italian tourist was killed when a bomb went off at the beachfront hotel where he was staying. There were smaller bombs at 2 other Havana hotels as well. When we come back, why Vice President Gore is shunning the spotlight.
Service Star and Coast to Coast Great American Fix-Up Sale. A Vermont American Laser Saw Blade, just $5.94. GE Silicone 2 Caulk, $6.94. The things a do-it-yourselfer needs are at Service Star and Coast to Coast stores.
It's time.
Time?
Time to check out Flonase.
Flonase?
Flonase Nasal Spray.
Flonase Nasal Spray.
Ask your doctor for a trial of Flonase.
Good idea.
Flonase Nasal Spray.
I'll check it out.
We all reach out for something only a company like Travelers can provide. Whether it's life insurance or long-term care to protect you today or annuities to enrich your tomorrows, Travelers Life and Annuity. We give you something to hold on to.
You are what you eat. You are also what you feel, what you think, what you do. You are what you say and what you hear, what you give and what you take. Take Nature Made vitamins, because everything in life helps make you what you are. Nature Made, recommended by pharmacists, made for a lifetime.
To celebrate 30 years of surprising winners, Publishers Clearinghouse is waking up 30 winners in 30 days. That means there'll be more screams, more cheers, more hugs, more smiles, more tears. What will you do if you win?
This is wonderful. Oh, my God.
Enter the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes today, and soon you could wake up a winner.
Wish you could unlock the secrets to happiness? Science has found keys, and they're not what you think. John Stossel shows you how you can get it. The Mystery of Happiness, tonight.
It's the end of a fairy tale and a ceremony we will all share together. See it with Peter Jennings, Barbara Walters, and ABC News, live Saturday morning at 5 Eastern.
In Washington today, they have resumed Senate hearings on campaign finance abuses. The focus today, Vice President Gore and his role in a controversial fundraiser at a Buddhist temple last year. ABC's Linda Douglas report tonight. This is not the type of attention Mr. Gore would like to be getting.
Al Gore started the week publicly relishing his role as vice president and front-running presidential candidate leading the Labor Day parade. But by last night, he'd gone into the bunker, rushing past reporters in his motorcade. This after the Justice Department announced it will review allegations that Gore illegally raised campaign contributions. Today, he refused to answer questions at a public event, and reporters were kept away when he went to the British Embassy to sign the condolence book for Princess Diana.
Do you solemnly swear?
Then came this spectacle. Buddhist nuns testifying on Capitol Hill about a Democratic fundraiser held last year at their temple in California. Gore was the star attraction. More than $100,000 was raised, much of it from monks and nuns.
You simply approached the first monks and nuns that you saw and asked them if they'd be willing to contribute $5,000. Yes.
But then the temple illegally reimbursed several of the nuns. And one nun testified through an interpreter that when news stories about the temple broke, she took steps to cover up the evidence.
Developments were unfolding so fast that I really got nervous. So I decided to destroy some of the documentation and make some new entries in the books.
There is no evidence that Gore knew about the reimbursement scheme. Plus, he insists he didn't know the event was a fundraiser in the first place. Still, an investigation into all of this could threaten one of Gore's most important political assets, his squeaky clean image. Linda Douglas, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrials lost about 27.5 points to close at 7867. On the NASDAQ market, stocks gained more than 6 points. When we come back, Sam Donaldson on reasons not to trust the IRS.
Heart and soul.
Good news. The FDA has confirmed that soluble fiber from oatmeal as part of a heart-healthy diet may reduce the risk of heart disease. It's nice to know that while Quaker oatmeal is good for the soul, it may be good for your heart, too.
If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand.
Peace of mind from Buick LeSabre.
Temporary relief isn't enough when the problem's here, and here. Now long-term help is here. Glucosamine chondroitin from Sundown helps your body repair and rebuild cartilage. Repair, rebuild, renew.
Bullseye!
Incorporated. Oh, hi, Mr. Wright. Sure, just 1 minute.
Hello, everyone. I've had to cut my vacation short. I'll be in the office in
10 minutes. See you then.
Ericsson mobile phones. That's the power of voice.
I just love doing that.
Well, I was in the neighborhood first, and Dave came up to see how I did get such a good lawn.
I went over and I peeked into his tool shed, and he was using Turf Builder.
Dave's secret is to follow whatever I do. Any spot you look is nice and green and thick.
With last year's drought, our lawn still came right back because we had good root structure.
I would never consider using anything other than Scott's.
I have the best lawn in the neighborhood.
I think Brad has some nice spots on his lawn, but I think overall I have a better lawn.
Those campaign hearings you've just been looking at have not produced the kind of public outrage that many people, including numerous politicians, hoped they would generate. But there's going to be a different set of Senate hearings beginning soon that just might get more attention. Here's our man in Washington, Sam Donaldson.
ABC News has learned that the next big Senate investigation will zero in on the Internal Revenue Service. Later this month, the Senate Finance Committee will hold 3 days of public hearings into alleged abuses by the IRS. Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott says people will be shocked by the things the committee has uncovered.
Taxpayers that have been abused, harassed, and intimidated. Taxpayers that have paid money that they didn't owe and the IRS has refused to give it back to them. A long list of examples.
Yes, Stanley McGill was 93 years old and senile, as the courts later agreed, when he wrote a check to the IRS for $7,000, which he didn't owe. The IRS cashed it anyway. McGill died, and when his daughter asked for the money back, the IRS said no, even though they acknowledged he didn't owe it, and the government has kept the money to this very day. In another case, the IRS went after a tax preparation company for suspected wrongdoing and put pressure on 7 of the firm's employees to testify. 5 employees who refused immediately had their personal tax returns audited. The 2 employees who did testify were not audited. But the real shocker in the hearings, according to Senator Lott, will be allegations that such abuse is actually encouraged by agency officials.
We're going to hear from agents that talk about how they are actually encouraged to do some of the threatening and intimidation of taxpayers in the IRS.
Do you think that you're going to be able to demonstrate that there is a systematic pattern of misconduct?
Yes, no question about it. There clearly is a pattern of misconduct and abuse and intimidation, and that seems to be the mentality. This is our money, and we're going to get it from you any way we want to, whether you like it or not.
An IRS spokesperson told ABC News the agency is cooperating with the Senate committee, and it will reply to Senator Lott's allegations directly if invited to testify. Sam Donaldson, ABC News, Washington.
Thank you, Sam. One other note of widespread interest from the government today. The Social Security Administration says it's going to try again to let people use the internet to keep track of what benefits they will get when they retire. The government, you may recall, first launched this site in March, but closed it down because people complained that sensitive information was too available to everybody. When the new site opens in January, the government says that security will be better. When we come back, we'll go back to London.
I used to take Pepsid AC, then I learned Tagamet HB200 blocks stomach acid faster. Why? More acid blockers. Both are strong. Tagamet's faster.
Tagamet HB200. More acid blockers help block acid faster.
Nobody can resist giving a hint to Heloise, so once I started talking about natural organic Alberto VO5 hair dressing, I got letters. You know VO5 keeps hair shiny and manageable, but it also works wonders on rough, dry hands. The natural conditioners protect leather shoes and bags. And it even gives your pet's coat a healthy shine. Hey, maybe they should call it Alberto VO 105.
VO5 hair dressing, natural hair care, and so much more.
My doctor said I didn't need surgery for my hemorrhoids, and to use Preparation H. For my problem, Preparation H is so effective. It helps relieve all these symptoms. Yet it's so gentle, it soothes and protects. More people trust doctor-recommended Preparation H.
Hi, I'm Steve Dunn. Next at 6:30, quicker repair means good news for commuters traveling the Interstate Bridge. What will it mean for taxpayers, though? Plus, will your new neighbors be a swarm of mosquitoes? How to protect your family from the worst outbreak in years. Next.
Once again, there are so many Diana-related stories today. A jeweler in Paris confirms to us that a $200,000 diamond ring found in the wrecked Mercedes, which carried the Princess of Wales and her companion Dodi Fayed to their death, had been purchased a few days before. The jeweler says it was a friendship ring, not an engagement ring, which Mr. Fayed bought. It all adds to the legend. We also learned today that the Royal National Institute for the Deaf had turned down a request from some journalists for lip readers, so the tabloids could figure out what the royal family was saying during the funeral service. Finally, it is not hard to get the impression, at least from here, that what we have here is a very rare case of the British people versus their own royal family. Perhaps because Diana so easily bared her soul to the public, which the royal family has otherwise been unable to do, the public has given its heart to her. Here again is ABC's Aaron Brown.
This is what it looks like when a nation holds awake. Cecilia Hammond and Douglas Vallander joined the line this morning.
Well, I've been since Sunday morning really trying to come to grief, you know, terms with this grief. And I can't. I'm here.
Because to be with other people is helpful?
Yes.
I wanted to sign that book, and if we've got to wait 24 hours, I'll wait 24 hours. I don't care how long it takes, just so we can pay our respects.
Though they'd never met, over the next 5 hours, they become friends, sharing their grief over Diana's death and their anger at the royal family.
You know, when they took her title away, why didn't we all stand up and say, what the hell do you think you're playing at? You can't give somebody a title one day and snatch it away the next. It's not a bag of sweeties. You know, they were so cruel to her.
In this mostly working-class crowd, no one complains about how long it's taking. It's been more than 2 hours now. And again, we are told she really was the people's princess.
If it had been a tragic accident and Charles had died,
would the people be doing what they're doing today?
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't.
When they are told the Queen will speak on TV tomorrow, they only shrug. It's just because she's read the papers.
Well, you give her the benefit of the doubt.
I don't want to go on. I don't want to go on feeling bitter. I want, you know, I need to heal.
After 5 hours on the line, now close to the end, it gets silent. It's just about their turn, and they are asked what they're going to write.
Darling Diana, I am drowning in a river of sadness for you. God bless you, Cecilia Hammond.
They enter the chapel and do what they came to do. Grief, we are reminded, is better shared, and what better place to share this grief, this sorrow, than walking down the line. Aaron Brown, ABC News, London.
And that is our report on World News Tonight. We'll be back in London again tomorrow for the funeral on Saturday. I hope you'll join us tomorrow night. I'm Peter Jennings. Good night.
This has been a